it float away. One note from the song she wrote put me where I lay. Just one note can make me choke, one note that's not a lie. Just one note could cut my throat, one note could make me die.
It was very accidental, it was very unintentional. It is kind of a coincidence that the very first song that I wrote, lyrically speaking, was Californication, the song Californication. Before John even came back into the band, I had written that as kind of a poem. And then when he came back, that was the first thing I took over to his house and said, let's make a song. But we didn't ever think of calling the record Californication until it was completely finished. The record was done, in the can, ready to ship, and we were trying to think of what we were going to call the record. And that was my suggestion, and Flea actually fought it for quite a while. Flea was frightened by the nature of the suggestion. And then it wasn't until we kind of looked back at it and we went, wow, there's a lot of reference to California. But to me that seems very natural. It wasn't forced or it wasn't conceived, it wasn't preconceived, it wasn't a concept album. It's just, that's the way it turned out.
Ourselves, serious musicians playing, on a stage for people, to be aware of what's happening musically and what's new and what's happening in music, and to listen and hear what is soulful and what is beautiful and what is passionate in that music. Because just to learn from history, it's like even in the most recent history, a lot of the bands that were really amazing in the 70s became outdated and ridiculous when they didn't pay attention to punk rock. When punk rock happened, a lot of bands, like, all of a sudden they became obscure and they became irrelevant because they ignored this music that they didn't see as worthy of paying attention to, yet it was the most profound, important music, and they didn't pay attention to it. And then they became like cartoons of themselves because of that, and I would never want that to happen to us as a band, And
I'll take the cheek on your hot spot.
I don't think so. I mean, yes, there is a star system in Hollywood, whether it's in the movies or any form of entertainment, but I think that the nature of bands and music and artists in America is it can happen kind of anywhere, because it seems like every year there's a new little, so-called hot spot of where music is coming out of. For a while it was, Athens, Georgia, and then it was, Minneapolis with the Replacements and Husker Du, and then it was Seattle, and then it was New York, and then who knows where. I don't think that we're necessarily a product of any sort of star-making machinery. We spent the first 5 years as a band playing tiny little nightclubs and traveling around in blue Chevy vans from town to town, and it wasn't like we were ever sort of discovered and put into this machinery.
All kinds of electronic music. I pretty much, like, when I was a little kid, when I was like 10 years old, 9 years old, I loved the new wave that I would hear on the radio station KROQ in LA, Devo and Gary Newman and stuff. And I hear all this electronic music that's come out in the last 20 years as being stemming from that in one way or another, So I like trip hop, I like instrumental electronic music.